All right, so right here, this is the clear payments steps to the sale. This right here is our sales process. So we're just going to dive right into it. This is what happens right when you walk into your appointment or you walk into a prospective business. This is the process we follow. We call it the steps to the sale. So boom, I'm Bo with Clear Payments. Your 9 o'clock appointment here to save you $1 billion today. How you doing? Good, 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 good. Now, while you're breaking the ice with the owner, with whoever you're talking to, keep the conversation going. Now, this is when you fill out completely the client current setup and survey form. So we have a clear understanding of what they already have going on, want, and will need for us to take care of them to earn their business. Now, next, get out your laptop or your tablet. You're going to figure out if you're doing a cash discount comparison or you're going to figure out if you're doing a standard comparison. If you don't know, you'll go with the cash discount comparison. And then if they say they're not into that, you'll go with the procedure down below for the standard comparison. So for the cash discount comparison, this is how it works. If the merchant said yes to not paying the fees on the client current setup and survey form, get the processing statement, bank statement from the merchant and complete the processing section on the cost comparison. Next, put the transaction amount in the transaction section. Then put the total fees into the current fees section of the cost comparison. If you are using the merchant's bank statement and not a processing statement for the cost comparison, you will need to add up the merchant's current deposits to get a total amount of what they have processed and hunt out the old fees, leases, and charges that they are paying. Next, ask the merchant how many days a week they are open and times that by 4 and put that in the next day funding section of the cost comparison. Now make sure to add any additional fees mentioned by the merchant on the client current setup and survey form to the fees already entered into the current fees section on the cost comparison or that you have found on the merchant's bank statements. If the merchant does not have a processing statement, bank statement, perform the cost comparison with the volume and average transaction amount on the bottom of the setup and survey form. Then times the merchant's total volume by 3% to come up with a ballpark of the fees they currently pay if they don't tell you what that percent is. Making sure to include any extra charges and fees they mentioned on the client current setup and survey form. Now make sure the credit cards, debit cards, credit per transaction, debit per transaction, downgrade, and Amex sections on the cost comparison are all 0. Call your manager if you need help with the cost comparison, monthly membership pricing, or lowering pricing to make a deal after you've gotten to this point. That right there is the cash discount comparison steps to the sale. Now, here's the standard cost comparison steps to the sale. Get the processing statement, bank statement from the merchant and complete the cost comparison. You need to find the total monthly processing amount and key that into the processing section on the cost comparison. Next, put the transaction amount in the transaction section. Then put the total fees into the current fees section of the cost comparison. If you are using the merchant's bank statement and not a processing statement for the cost comparison, you will need to add up the merchant's current deposits to get a total amount of what they processed and hunt out the old fees, leases, and charges they are paying. Next, ask the merchant how many days a week they are open and times that by 4 and put that in the next day funding section of the cost comparison. Now make sure to add any additional fees mentioned by the merchant on the client current setup and survey form to the fees already entered into that section onto the cost comparison. If the merchant does not have a processing bank statement, perform the cost comparison with the volume and average transaction amount on the bottom of the setup and survey form. Then times the merchant's total volume by 3% to come up with a ballpark of the fees they currently pay, making sure to include any extra charges and fees they mention on the client current setup and survey form. Now it's time to finish the cost comparison. You will take the dollar amount in the credit card section of the cost comparison and times that by 68%. Then put that dollar amount in the debit card section below it. Next, you will take the amount of transactions in the credit per transaction section and times that by the number in the credit card section and times that by 40%. Then enter that amount into the downgrade and Amex section of the cost comparison. Call your manager if you need help with the cost comparison, monthly membership pricing, or lower pricing to make a deal after you have got to this point. If the merchant decides they want to see our standard pricing after pitching the cash discount pricing, follow these formulas to properly enter the rates back into the cost comparison. For credit cards, key in 0.0179, enter. For debit cards, key in 0, enter. For downgrade and Amex, key in 0.0156, enter. Also include a transaction fee of 10 cents for credit per transaction and 20 cents for debit per transaction sections. Make sure to follow the above instructions to separate debit card volume, debit per transactions, and downgrade and Amex volume to complete the standard cost comparison. Call your manager if you need help with this. Monthly membership. To determine what you want your monthly membership to be, remembering that the higher the monthly membership, the bigger your commission will be. Look at the amount you are saving the merchant in the first month's savings section of your cost comparison. Generally, you'll want to take anywhere from 40 to 60% of that savings amount and use that for the monthly membership, making sure to add the appropriate fees to that amount for the type of equipment the merchant is getting that can be found in the monthly membership caps per equipment type guide. If you have any questions when you get to this point, call your manager. Okay, next. After completing the cost comparison, say to the merchant, are you saving $150 a month? Wait for the merchant to say yes. Then look them in the eye and say, here's how we're going to do it. Now walk the merchant through now walk the merchant through the Clear Payment Services Guide. This is the guide to show them what makes us different and all the things they don't get now that they will from us. Use the power of your pen to force their attention to everything you are showing them on each page of the Clear Payment Services Guide. Put a sense of power and ownership on everything you are showing them that they are getting today. You are here to help a customer and to close this sale today. Presentation, flow, cost comparison, and close. There's already a training in this training kit that you have access to that goes over the Clear Payment Survey. So this you can watch this in the other video that's in your training kit. Now, the merchant is probably asking you how our pricing works and what the costs are. Make sure to let them know it costs them nothing because it's funded out of what we are saving them. So now get the merchant in front of your tablet or laptop and show them their new pricing. Now read their statement to them, pointing out their monthly volume, transactions, batch amounts, and fees. Next, go through the cash discount savings if they said they wanted that on the survey form, or the savings on the standard cost comparison if they are not interested in cash discount. Show them each pricing section of the cost comparison till you get to show them their total monthly and yearly savings. Do not pause at this point at all and say, now good news. All I need from you to get you taken care of is a business card, a picture of your ID, and a voided check to the account where you'd like us to deposit your money. Now start filling out the autofill application. Let the merchant know that we should have their new systems to them to install in person in the next 5 to 10 business days. Once you have the application completely filled out, follow these steps below to walk the merchant through the signing of the application. This is majorly huge. So this training right here, everything we just went over, you've got the merchant, you're doing the deal. Let the merchant know on average, it takes 5 to 7 days, 5 to 10 days for us to get their equipment to them. And as soon as their equipment shows up, we'll call them to schedule the installation, or we'll have the salesman reach out to call and follow up for a time for the installation. Now, diving right back in here. This is the application process. So if you're standing there once our application processing department or Lucy has sent the application to your merchant's email and they need a little help walking through it and they're asking you what these papers are, this is the application process. This is how you walk them through it. You just say, okay, so this page right here, sir, is your receipt and special instruction form. Let the customer know this is the most important form. It's a summary of everything we have done here today, along with our guarantee, which is we will meet or beat any competitor's rate at any time, or they can cancel their processing account at any time without penalty. We also guarantee the technology and equipment for the life of them processing with us. So they will never need to worry about being taken care of. Second application page, this is the application. First page up here was the receipt and special instruction form. The next application in the forms they're signing is the merchant processing application. Let the customer know this is their business information, how many years they've been in business, your average processing volume, their personal information, and the pricing on the cost comparison that we just went over and are setting them up with. Then walk them through putting their signature, initials, and approvals where needed by guiding them through the application with your pen. Approval here, and so on. The next application, if they're doing a Clover program using Clover equipment, or if we're setting them up with a different type of point of sale system, there's going to be that type of application in there so we can integrate to that system. So we'll just say here, for POS applications, this is just a document stating you will not try to recreate a POS like Clover or whatever we're giving you in Stiller Technology. Approval here, boom. The fourth application page, official notice of immediate account termination. This is the form that allows us to close out the merchant's previous companies so they stop charging your customer once you get them set up with us. Moving on, the fifth application page in the packet, monthly subscription and membership. This is your monthly membership pricing that we have gone over on the cost comparison, showing the equipment portion that we will be sending to you. Approval here and here. At this point, make sure you have correctly and properly filled out your application and that all signature and initial spots have been signed or initialed on the application. If this was a DocuSent application, you don't need to worry about where they're signing because Lucy's already made sure that the signatures, the dates, and the initials are all where they need to go. This is only if you have started doing your applications yourself. Okay, use your clean and complete paperwork guide to ensure this. Next, thank the merchant for their time and let them know we should have their equipment to them in the next 5 to 10 business days, and we'll be calling them to schedule the install day and time with them as soon as we know this, and thank them again and be on your way. Now, we do have the complete paperwork guide. If you are doing your paperwork and your manager's already showed you this, you already have access to that. Otherwise, you're not doing your own paperwork yet, and you'll get to this point. Now, that right there is our sales process. This is a crash course. Listen to this over and over and over again. This will help you keep from asking me questions that I've already answered in your whole entire training kit, so that when you spend your time talking to me, it's closing deals and making money, not asking me what I've already put in these training videos. I'm excited to have you here. There's a lot of money and opportunity and a lot of growth here. If you're hearing what is being said, watch these training videos over and over and over so you can learn exactly what you're doing in the field, since the training videos have been made just for you. That is all.